special Tolo Tuesday appearance with Jerry Jones at 8:30 this morning. And Coach is brought to you by Black Rifle Coffee, the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys, here on Sean and Bobby, with RJ Choppy going on his 6th or 7th straight day of vacation. Yeah.
Must be nice.
Must be nice. Really involved on the home of the Cowboys. RJ Choppy, my co-host of 12 years, as we bring in Coach McCarthy. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Oh, doing well, man. Did you guys have a nice Thanksgiving?
We did. Did you?
Yes, absolutely. No, absolutely.
Did you think about taking a bite of that turkey leg on the sideline with Dak?
It was offered, but no, I was saving mine for the evening meal.
Okay, so you're an after the game Thanksgiving guy. You're not somebody who does like the Friday when you're working the game or like the Wednesday. You just choose to do a late Thanksgiving dinner after a game.
Actually, we did it as a family on Friday. So, but yes, I think just like anything, it's it's a great day to be part of the tradition of the Thanksgiving game. But I think the biggest part is Thanksgiving is about family, and obviously having the time together is really the focus.
Top Thanksgiving side for you is what?
Excuse me?
The top side dish at Thanksgiving is what?
The stuffing. I just think it just tastes different on Thanksgiving. It's just.
That's the only time we have it the whole year.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's probably why.
Coach, do the days kind of get crossed and confused for you with like this yearly Cowboys schedule with the way this happens? Are you finding yourself be like, what day is it again? Or you got it down pat now?
No, definitely. Because today's a Friday, and that's why I'm on with you. We love people, but obviously it's a Tuesday in the real world. So yeah, it's this 2 or 3 week stretch is I won't miss it once we get off it. But yeah, it's definitely a challenge.
Coach, you mentioned there about how the Thanksgiving holiday, so much about family and everything else. Donlon Bland, I know he talked about how special it was for him to be able to have his family there when he was able to break that record with the pick six. And we've heard so many stories about like just the character of Donlon Bland and the good person that he is. What stood out to you when you guys got a chance to have him on the pre-draft visit, during the pre-draft process? What stood out to you about his character and his makeup?
Oh, I think the biggest thing is, when you have time with the young men on the visit is how they interact and, their people skills and just, get a feel for them personality-wise. I mean, also there's a football component to it where you spend time, in an office setting talking football to see where these guys are, but just how they fit in. He's just a very, very humble, confident young man, and he's been like that since day one.
What is it that makes him so adept at just making the jump on those things and making a jump on reading the ball? Is that something that generally cornerbacks have that gamble within them? They see the ball, they see the quarterback getting ready to deliver it, they make that jump? Or is that just a unique trait of his, that ability to read the quarterback and get a jump on it?
Well, I mean, it's definitely a trait, of a defensive back, but in the game of football, without a doubt. I mean, his instincts and awareness I would definitely say is high, especially for where he is in his career. But he has exceptional ball skills to go with it, and that's a big part of it. And then, as we found out, he also has an incredible ability to get to the end zone. So, but yeah, it's just a very instinctive, talented young man.
Mike McCarthy here on 105.3 The Fan. Coach, in years past, we've talked about things changing, styles changing with December football. Do you feel like that's going to happen again for you guys this year, especially considering the great way that you guys have been playing, especially on offense? Are things going to change with the weather here over this final regular season month?
What change are you what specifically you asking? What do you mean by change?
Oh, December football, weather, colder elements. You guys have been, having more success with the passing game. Are things going to change like you've talked about in years past, just in terms of the style for the league and playoff football?
Oh, I think, big part of it is where do you play? Obviously we're indoors, but, we do have some, away games outdoors coming up. But, we've had some weather here that's, dipped down into the 40s and of late. And we're outside every single day unless we absolutely have to come in. That's our practice mode of operation. So But yes, I think it's critical to be outside handling the football because it's different, and when you go to these different stadiums and everything's a little different. The backdrop of the stadium and the weather and so forth. But yes, it's definitely part of December football, which put that with the urgency of everybody. This thing's going to come down to the end here in the next 6 weeks. So the urgency there is obviously heightened.
You coached at a place that had this magical home field mystique with Lambeau, grew up around, the Steelers and that crowd. We hear about Arrowhead, Seattle back in the day, but your home numbers in Arlington are insane. It's crazy. What is it, 40 points or half a?
Yeah, over Dak's last 25 starts at home, they've put up 40 points 13 times, so over half of them.
Coach, talk about the home field advantage and what is just making you guys so invincible playing at AT&T.
Well, your home games are so important. That's always been the formula for success as far as being a, consistent playoff team. History will reflect that, and obviously learned that in my first, opportunity with the Kansas City Chiefs and Arrowhead. So, we always felt that played a big part of our success at home, and I think we definitely established that here in Dallas. Our fans are incredible on game day, and you're seeing it more and more too. When that ball drops onto the tee for the first kick, our crowd is into it, and our players love that. So, and then you got all the other, mechanics and preparation lead ups of being at home. And I think that's all plays into it. It's important. I think their neurological, clocks are better, more in order, and they sleep in their own beds. I think all those things play into it too. But there's no place like playing at AT&T, and it's just our crowds have been incredible.
Coach, you mentioned in recent weeks that Terence Steele, after he had some struggles, that, hey, look, he's coming off of an injury. This is the reality of trying to work your way back. It really feels like he's come on the last couple of weeks and had some good performances. Do you think this is just him kind of finally hitting his stride health-wise and returning back to where he was last year?
Yes, definitely. I think physically he feels better than he did earlier, and that's important. But there's a lot of football in front of us, and he knows that, and we know it. But I think just the continuity that you're seeing, with him and Zach, and is that's only going to always improve, over time. And those guys didn't have many reps here in training camp, so I think it's a combination of all those things, and just very pleased with the way the line has progressed here the last month.
And obviously with the line progressing and playing well and getting a chance to gel together a little bit, that's made things easier for Tony Pollard as well. But Tony Pollard, it looks like we've all been kind of kicking this around. It looks like he's running with almost like a more physical running style these last couple weeks and kind of doling out punishment. Have you noticed any sort of a change in Pollard's approach in the last couple weeks and the way that he's approaching the game?
I really don't. Tony's is clearly one of our most consistent, players, especially in the area of preparation. Tony's the same every day. He's in early, he's in the weight room. He's taking care of his body. With the extra work. So very consistent in the classroom. So this is, to me, is how Tony's always played. I think it's just like anything. It's a long year. Opportunities come, and the consistency and efficiency that we're playing on offense is different today than it was 6-7 weeks ago. So I find Tony as a very, very consistent player, and I know that doesn't always show up, and may not show up in the numbers, but that's not the reality of it.
One of the things that was discussed early on in Tony's career was people talked about, can you count on him to be in there and blitz pickup? And it seems like something that he's really worked on over the last few years, and now he's really good at it. And just the physicality that he plays with when he's back there, doing blitz pickup and in pass pro. What do you think about the way that he's evolved in that area in pass protection?
Well, I think he's taken a big step, and I think it's like anything. It's just, when you challenge your players to do more from a mental responsibility, which also increases your the technique and the fundamentals that you have to play with. So then with that comes more work and more emphasis, and the whole running back room has responded in a great way. I'm very, very pleased with it, and he's the leader in that room, and it starts with him. But yeah, I think that the blitz pickup and the third down protection part of it, we've been significantly better in the past 4 or 5 weeks, and our backs are a big part of that.
Mike McCarthy here on Sean and RJ 105.3 The Fan. So, Coach, we're all kind of saying, all right, here's the crucial stretch. Here's the gauntlet of games after you guys have blown out some of the lesser teams in the league. But not every good team blows these other teams out. So we're trying to figure out who the Cowboys are. What is your – because you know how tough it is, and Jerry's going to tell us at 8:30 how tough it is to win every single week. What is your answer to that or evaluation of your own team after handling – business in a very convincing way against some of the lesser teams before you go on this stretch here?
Well, I think it just shows you a level of consistency. We're all trying to win each and every week, and it is very difficult. And it's not cliche at all.
Yeah.
Because winning in this league is tremendously hard week in and week out because there's so many variables that change throughout the season, especially in the 7-day swing, and especially in the swing that we're on. So and that's the reality of it. But I just think, we've been consistently been able to show up each week and play at a fairly high level. And I think that's lined up well for us in these past games. And we've had some big wins that have had a lot of production. But, the reality of it is, our schedule speaks for itself. And I love it because you have to play bullseye football because every one of these games, as we know, is important, but they're against excellent opponents, and this is a great stretch for us to get to where we want to get to. But more importantly, to be playing with the level of football, particularly in situational football. I think these next weeks are going to really challenge us there, and I'm excited about it.
Coach, we've kind of viewed Seattle as a little bit of a surprise. I thought they were going to go through much more of a rebuild after Russell Wilson, and then Geno Smith came in and had obviously the fantastic season last year. They've slipped up a little bit as of late, losing 3 of their last 4, but they seem like a nuisance. They seem like a surprising challenge. What have you seen in Seattle?
Very good football team. It's a talented football team. They have young talent, so I definitely look at them as a team on the upswing. As far as how they're playing, I think they're definitely dangerous because of the results in their games the last month. So we're looking at this as, this is going to be a barn burner. This is going to be a hell of a football game Thursday night.
Coach, there was the big buzzword. It felt like whenever we talked to any of the offensive players during training camp was they were using the line communication was a big thing, specifically in the passing game. That, we need the communication between everybody on offense to be better. Dak and the receivers, communication's got to be tighter. How do you feel like that's come along? It feels like we're not seeing that as much of a talking point of, hey, this communication's been a struggle. It looks like that time on task has really paid off.
Oh, I agree. I think it's an excellent observation on your part because, it was such a huge focus, starting with the players back in April. And it's nice to see the time on task and everything, come into play here because it was definitely needed. So I think our offensive guys have taken a big jump in that area.
Coach, what is your evaluation of the player that Shaq Leonard is today?
Well, good football player. Actually excited to, meet with him and see where this goes. But no, he's, I think just like everything in this league, you got to, evaluate the medical part of it, and but just have tremendous respect for him, for what he's done. But this is part of the business part of this league, and when you have opportunities like this, you definitely have to look into it.
Are you guys meeting today?
Hey, I'm looking forward to meeting the young man.
All right. Did you have any new father advice for Dak?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. We talk about dads and daughters quite frankly. So yeah, it'll be consistent and constant advice because I'm fortunate to having 3 daughters. I can definitely help pave the way for them a little bit.
Now I'm surprised, Coach, by the amount of friends that I have that got out of changing diapers. I was a 50-50 guy. Were you a 50? Really? Were you a 50-50 guy, or you didn't change double-digit diapers in your young fatherhood career?
You mean 50-50 as splitting it with your wife?
Yes.
Okay. Oh yeah, absolutely. No, actually, Dak, it's funny you brought it up. We were talking about changing diapers last night. So yeah, it's different when it's your child, as I told him. So I think he'll definitely be a 50-50 guy.
Coach, thank you so much. As always, glad you had a great Thanksgiving. Let's have a great Thursday, and then we'll set it up for another holiday. Thank you.
All right, you bet. Take care, man.
He's the head coach of America's team, Mike McCarthy, brought to you by Black Rifle Coffee, the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys.